Hello, Silvina, and everyone who is watching either live or the recorded version. We are here for you to share the love for ELT, English language teaching, together. And I welcome my guest in the Club for Successful English Teachers, female English teachers. Mrs. Silvina, and how do I pronounce your last name?
Mascitti.
Mascitti. Oh,
Right. Good.
Mascitti.
Yeah.
It's Italian. It sounds Italian.
Yeah, actually in Italian would be Mascitti. Mascitti, but it's the Argentinian sound Mascitti. That's simple.
So you already told us one thing about yourself. You are originally Argentinian.
Yeah. Well, hello everyone. So nice to be here. It's a big pleasure, Nina. Thanks for the invitation. It's a great
I
opportunity
am
for
so
me.
honored to have such a star
Oh
here,
gosh.
a materials writer, creator, teacher trainer, LinkedIn star. Um, that's where we know each other from, and we'll be talking about it. I admire your work, and my wish with this interview is to make everyone in our industry see your wonderful work
Mm,
and follow your website, follow your creative ideas because it's amazing what you
thank
do.
you. Thank you so much, Nina. Right back at you.
So, we will be talking about you in the first 15, 20 minutes. I'd like to ask you about your background, about ELT teaching and freelancing as well. But the
Right.
main topic today is your passion, creating lesson plans, sharing them. So, we'll be talking about the methodology side of things, but also the business side of things and
Mhm.
building a network, sharing your work on social media. We'll talk about LinkedIn, of course. Ladies, those of you in our club, this is a teaser for another webinar that we will be doing soon in our club on LinkedIn and how we can use LinkedIn to find very interesting connections
Nice.
and network and maybe become a part of interesting teams or projects, and we'll talk about that briefly here tonight as well, within the topic of CPD. Yes,
Right.
who knows what CPD is? I wonder, those watching, if they could write it in the comments, if you know what CPD stands for in the ELT industry. And in the meantime, I'd like to ask you, Silvina, how is your day? I always ask at the beginning, how is your day? How did you spend your day? Was it more of a working day or personal parenting? I know you're a mom, so tell
Yeah.
us about your day.
Well, my day was pretty busy because today I started teaching for a big language school from Madrid online, but I went back to teach for them. So, yeah, I started today a new academic year with two new students and very happy about that. So, yeah, it was a mixture of mom and professional day, both, you know,
And
trying
you
to
are a
balance.
mom of one, right?
Yeah, only one, but he is has the energy of four, more or less, four
How
kids.
old is your son?
He's 4.5.
Four and a
Yeah,
half. Oh,
yeah,
that
he's a
age.
boy. Yeah, restless.
Kindergarten
So
time. Yes,
yeah, he's
kindergarten time.
adapting to a new year, to his second year of kindergarten. So yeah, it's the first week of everything. So it's pretty, yeah, exciting, but at the same time exhausting. Mm,
Yes, for us working moms, and we have many things in common. One of them being single moms. It's
yeah.
extra crazy to
Hmm.
start work, start the school year with our kids, but also our own students. But we're still here and rocking it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm a very anxious person, so whenever I'm with my boy, I want to answer the messages I get on Slack or on everything, and I can't do that. I have to try to separate and try to devote time to things separately. So it's a challenge. It is.
Oh, yes. That's called work-life balance. Do they call it that? And it's such a
Yeah.
challenge for moms. I remember what my daughter is 13 now, but when she was in kindergarten, switching off from work and switching on for her, that was
Mm,
so challenging. I got used to it, and now she like doesn't really want to see me
independent.
during the day. But so I can focus. It will come. It will come. You can
Yeah,
focus
I know
on work
that.
again. I
Yeah, yeah,
promise.
yeah. Take
So,
your word.
Silvina, you are Argentinian, but you are
Hmm.
not in Argentina, are you? Where are you?
No, I've been living in Spain for 7 years now. So I left Argentina 8 years ago because first I moved to the States for 1 year. I got a
Uh-huh.
Fulbright scholarship. I don't know if you know what it is. So I got this scholarship to teach Spanish, which is my mother tongue, in the
Yeah.
USA in a college. And then after that, I spent 1 year there, 2 semesters teaching. And then I moved back to Argentina and I decided to move to Europe because my grandparents were Italian. So I have two nationalities. Luckily, I have an Italian passport, an Argentinian one. So that's why I'm able to live here. So that's great.
How many
Um,
languages do you speak?
Only two. I'm a fake Italian. I'm so sorry. Many people ask me the same, you know. So you speak Italian? No, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But I guess that in the future, that's something that I would like to do in the future. Perhaps when I retire. I don't know. But Spanish and Italian are very similar.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that I should take advantage of that. Yeah.
Hmm. And what kind, you don't have to tell us in which city in Spain you are, but are you in a city or are you in a smaller town? What kind of
Oh, it's
environment?
okay. So I first moved to Madrid, the capital city, the capital of Spain, and then I moved to Barcelona, so the biggest cities in Spain. And my kid was born there actually. And then I moved to Alicante, which is in the south on the Mediterranean coast. Lovely weather. That's why I'm wearing this. It's very hot here,
And
still
look, I'm
summer.
already getting ready for
Oh
Christmas
my
because
gosh.
it's 10 degrees outside and raining. No, I just grabbed it by mistake.
Here we have like 28 right now. Yeah,
Okay,
and
I'm
that's
jumping
cool.
on the next plane. Here in the Czech Republic, it's so cold, unfortunately. The
Well, it's
autumn
gonna
is
come here.
coming. Autumn
Yeah.
lovers, anybody watching who is an autumn lover, share with us. There are several people watching in the club live already, I can see. So, hello, ladies, tell us who is watching.
Okay.
And I want to be in Alicante now, 28
Right.
degrees. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Now it's good, but it was super sticky and humid. But well, yes, I'm in on the coast right now. Never lived by the sea, so it's my first time. I've been living here for 3 years. So that's why I'm teaching online because I used to teach in person in Madrid and Barcelona. And here, this language school that I work for is doesn't have a physical school here,
Uh-huh.
so they are offering me some online classes. That's why I'm doing everything online right now. Yeah,
Somehow it goes hand in hand with the pandemic and what happened around the world. Yeah, your life
exactly.
adjusts quite easily, I see, to that. And you love the online, don't you? You love the online.
Well, when my kid was born, I stopped teaching for 2 years. That was between 2018 and 2020. So when I decided to go back to teaching, the pandemic struck. So that was the opportunity for me, like the springboard for online teaching, and it was convenient for me at that time because of my personal situation, so I could handle
Yeah,
it better, you know. So in that case, the pandemic like pushed me to start
yeah.
again and to be at home, but at the same time working, doing what I love. So that was how everything started again after becoming a mom for me. And I don't know if I love it. It's different, of course, because I used to do a lot of games and I used to cut a lot of flashcards
We
and
are
there
not
was a lot of
cutting anymore.
crafts.
No more cutting.
Exactly. So my hands are kind of rusty now, I'm not used
Mm-hmm.
to cutting things with the scissors. Now with my boy, with Tommy. But for my classes, I have a lot of things stored. And perhaps one day I go back to in-person classes. I have some teenagers coming home, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but my students are adults, so I play some games online, but it's different. So I think that both things have their good and bad things, you know?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But don't you think it's so positive that so many new teachers are online, independent, sharing materials, networking, inviting each other to the lessons, and
Absolutely.
simply, yeah, the world is interconnected and it's so much easier to learn English, I believe, these days.
Yeah, learn English, connect with colleagues around the world because I feel that I have a lot of friends, including you, Nina, of course.
Yes,
So we are all friends. Perhaps we haven't seen each other in person yet, but it's great to
I'm
have
coming
this.
to Alicante.
Yay, yay! And then I'm going to Czech Republic, of course.
Definitely, if you want to cool down. We have beautiful Christmas markets, if you like. We are
Okay,
good at
taking
that.
notes. Taking
Mm-hmm.
notes. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that the idea of online teaching is kind of lonely at
Yes.
times. So this networking, online
Yeah.
networking, helps us be more together or have stronger bonds because I'm not seeing any colleague. So it's great to be in touch this way.
Yes,
So perhaps
and
the pandemic did that.
to inspire each other,
Yeah.
we can do this. We can broadcast interviews, webinars, podcasts, and
Yes.
share our love
Mhm.
for teaching languages and our ideas and tips, what works and what doesn't.
Everything. Yeah.
And especially now after the pandemic, when we are going back to, many of us going back to online, sorry, offline, and mixing it, and like looking at the situation and being maybe a little bit confused, it helps so much to hear from other people around the world how they do it. And I
Yes.
love finding out that we are actually all the same, no matter where we are and what kind of background we have. Um,
Exactly.
we are
Yeah.
all the same.
That's true.
And
That's
we
true.
deal with the same issues and challenges, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this community is great. That's why I encourage people every time I have the chance to speak to someone publicly, let's say in these kind of sessions, I encourage teachers to join this social media. I mean, we shouldn't abuse. I mean, it's a lot of exposure sometimes, it's a lot of connection and technology. But for the sake of our CPD, as you were talking before, I think it's enriching. And sometimes we can access to many free resources. So if you devote some little time in your week to watch a webinar, to attend a session, to read an article that someone posts on a blog, because many blogs came out with the pandemic. Many
Yeah.
teachers, many ELT professionals wanted to share their wisdom, their knowledge, their expertise. So this is amazing. I think we have to take advantage of that.
And
This
I
is good.
know that you follow a lot of stuff, but you choose carefully because you're aware of your work-life balance. And, as you said, too much exposure to modern technology and the screens.
Yeah,
Then we get headache or back pain or
everything. Eye
uh,
strain. Yeah.
yeah, all these things. Yeah, people talked about this during the pandemic a lot. So
Mm,
let's look into the future and be positive.
yeah.
Let's talk about the freelancing side of things. You are a freelancer, or what's
Yeah,
your
I
situation?
became a freelancer this year in May
Hmm.
officially. I mean, I started teaching online in 2020 with a few students, word of mouth mainly, people
Hmm.
that I knew from Madrid and Barcelona, nobody from Alicante because everything was online. So I was here. And then they started recommending me. So I had a few students. So that's why I didn't go officially as a freelancer by that time. But then, as I started with material writing and I started to do some collaborations, I needed to become an official freelancer. And I needed, of course, to go back to the system again, because I
Yes.
want to retire one day.
And
Uh,
many of the ladies in our club that are watching or are going to be watching this have been in this situation either recently or in the past, including myself. I know what it's like, and I see every um, difficult situation as an opportunity to create something beautiful. So I see that with you, like you are definitely a fighter, and you come up with some amazing creations. And I believe that's what we are here, each of us, for,
yeah.
with our special gift to share. So
Hmm.
you love creating lesson plans. I love running a community for teachers and doing
Yes,
interviews. We all do so many different things, and we can share and
of
move
course.
together, and
Hmm.
it's beautiful because we are stronger together, as I always say. Yeah.
Yes, so
What do
true.
you love? What do you love? What do you enjoy about freelancing? And then, of course, I will ask you what do you don't like, so what you
Well,
dislike.
perhaps number one, the freedom that you have to manage
Hmm.
your own schedule. I mean, you can choose, you can decide, you can prioritize your, perhaps in my case, my kid, my life, my private
Yeah.
life. So I cannot work full time at this moment because I take care of my kid some many parts of the week.
Hmm.
So in that case, freelancing allows me to do this, to make a choice and to schedule classes according to my
Yeah.
obligations and duties, personal and professional. And then I have the balance between material writing and teaching because material writing gives me more freedom than teaching. I can write when he goes to bed, but I cannot teach when he goes to bed. It's too late.
Yeah.
So I can make that balance as well within my
Yeah,
professional life.
asynchronous work and synchronous work. And when we
Exactly.
combine it, it's for some of us the perfect mix. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially moms, for sure.
Yes, yes. And then well, we need to rest, of course,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
well
And
deserved.
sometimes when you do things that you really love, like the creative, the flow, the creative process of putting together the lesson plans, will show them in a little bit, and talk about it in more detail.
Mhm.
Then you don't feel like it's work, do you? You don't get exhausted. You
No,
get energized by it. Like I get
yeah,
energized by this.
it's a kind of addiction. You have to be careful. Last year was really an addiction for me because I produced like 70 lesson plans for my website. It was crazy. So it was every week I uploaded one. So it was
Wow.
really crazy because I was making them for my students. So every week I wanted to make a different one, but then I wanted to add the teacher's notes for other teachers to use them. So it was a lot of work, but I felt really good about that. Now I don't have the time to produce as many, but it's okay because I have like 80 lesson plans up there and they are available for teachers worldwide. So yes, it's really it became a kind of addiction, healthy, but at times a little too much. So I decided to slow down a bit, and yes, it's good for our work life balance as well.
So
Yeah.
let's check it out in a minute. Anything that you dislike, just to get that topic over with? Anything that you
About a
dislike about?
freelancing, you mean? But
Anything
at the same
challenging?
time, well, it's a contradiction because you can manage your schedule, but at the same time, you don't know when to stop. Because if you work for somebody else, you have a time, you start at certain time and you finish at this time. But when you
Mhm.
work for your own,
For
I mean,
yourself, you're your own boss.
right, you have to know when to stop, and sometimes it's difficult. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
think that it's kind of we have to learn when to stop, how to stop, what to do when we stop. Because then perhaps I stop working on the computer, but I go open a book on the lexical approach because I want to enrich my lex. So that is not reading for pleasure. I mean, it is, but at the same time, it isn't.
Yeah, it's
So
work.
yeah. So that is the difficult part sometimes to learn how to manage your time.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Hmm.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
But hashtag I love my job. Not everybody can say that, so I believe we are so lucky in that
yeah.
way.
Hmm.
But we
That's
work
true.
hard for it. So let's see. I want to share your website because this is why we are here. I want everyone to see this fantastic library of free lessons. There are only a few that cost just a little bit, but
Yeah.
most of them are free. So let me share with everyone this wonderful website called, please tell us.
Okay. EFL Creative Ideas. It started like a blog, that's something small, because the very first lesson plan that I uploaded was the final project of my course on materials development that I did in case some of the teachers here want to do a course and want to learn more about materials development. It's at NILE. It's Norwich Institute of Learning and Educations. I don't remember the acronym, what it stands for, but it's NILE, Nile. So the
Hmm.
very first lesson plan that I uploaded there was in January 2021, as soon as I finished this 2 month course, intensive course. And then I started producing a lot for different students, for different classes. And then I decided to separate them between general and business English, and the
Yes,
ones that are on sale are the ones that I make for Nick Pitchy. I don't know, Nina, if you know him.
of course I know Nick Peachy, Peachy
Okay,
Publications.
great.
The other day I saw that on LinkedIn. I want congratulations. That's fantastic because he's so well known in the ed tech
Yeah,
side of
yeah.
things.
He's a genius. He's so
Yeah.
updated. He's always posting things on technology. Wow, he's
Yes. His
really
newsletter I've
knowledgeable.
been following over 10 years.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'm new to all this, because I started on LinkedIn like 2 years ago, more or less, to be active, super active. So I started to make connections with all these huge people, and that is what social media has. That you can talk to the author of the book you're using in your class
yeah,
if
to the
you use a
famous
book,
people. Yeah,
right?
you can make friends with the stars, and
And they
that's
answer your
awesome.
messages, because
Yes,
that was
they
my
do.
beginning. I started talking to them. I started to ask for feedback. I mean, for one lesson plan, because I mean, people work and they are consultants, and of course sometimes you have to pay for that. But I started to ask for feedback and to start improving, to improve my writing and my process. So that's it, the great thing about social media. And I know that many teachers are on Twitter as well. I'm not, because I think that LinkedIn is more than enough for me. I don't have Instagram either.
Hmm.
I think it's too much. I couldn't handle everything. But Twitter has a lot of heated debates between people or among people from ELT. If you are more into the academic part.
It's
Uh,
true. Yeah.
so it's great. The ELT
But
community is
I
really
feel
involved.
LinkedIn is where things happen now. Like the really interesting people from ELT, they are all sharing
Yeah.
so much, and you can get
Mhm.
so inspired. Look, everyone, look at this. I'm not finished yet. And I just want to say that what attracted me to you, to your work, are the topics that are so modern. Yeah, the birth of jazz, that would be me. I can see not so many people viewed it because
That
that's
that was
so.
made for a 68-year-old student that I have.
I would enjoy that too. I would enjoy that
So the
too.
video
So
is
I
really
just
nice.
want to go to the last one. No, the first one that you created, the power of quiet
Well,
leadership.
actually, it was food waste. I don't know if it's somewhere there. I don't if it's a little up. But yeah, those were the first ones.
And vocabulary about pregnancy. So I
Yeah,
suppose this pregnancy one is in general English section, and the power of
yeah,
quiet leadership is the business English section, right?
exactly, exactly.
So I
Yes.
just want to show everyone when I open any of these, You will see a very clean, I love your design. We spoke about this very clean design. Not that much information, which is great because it's not overwhelming. And then you will see a PDF very often these days, because this is from 2021, yeah, January 2021. You have one PDF now. There are also, it's divided into students' notes and teachers' notes, and
Yeah.
you just download it for free, people.
Yeah, the teacher's note is not only the answer key, because I give some ideas on how to give extra challenge or extra support to students for mixed ability classes, in case the videos are very difficult, challenging, or too easy. So I try to include that.
So this is one of the more recent ones, yeah, and
Mhm.
um, you can see the clean design, and there's always, I love how it always follows this structure, but within the structure it's very creative and it really makes you think. So there's always this, yeah, of course, lead-in discussion, and then maybe some pair work. Here we have some definitions of different kinds of meetings, which is very interesting. Like yeah, discuss in small groups what's a kickoff meeting, or what's a board meeting, what's a check-in meeting, and then like go and talk about it with. And I love how you always give the functional language for everything,
Mm.
and it's like it seems serious, but it's fun. Like I can imagine being a student really enjoying it, and there's so much from the lexis, from the vocab, from the functional language, and it's just, yeah, of course there's a video, and very modern topics in all the lesson plans I have seen. It's just so exciting to teach it, I think, but also to be the student. I would like to be the student. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and then well, perhaps the lesson is too long for 1 hour. If you teach 1 hour, so you can pick, you can choose, you can use whatever you need, or
yeah,
you can assign
I
some
can
homework.
imagine like a 2 hour workshop on
Yeah, it's
with
a lot.
this.
It's a
Yeah,
lot.
but that's great. Like you can create just an afternoon workshop and use this lesson plan, and that there's your course for your business people that maybe are from one company, or you teach individuals and then you can put them together, and this can be done online easily. It doesn't have to be offline, right?
Right, right. Can be used either way.
And you have a role play at the end, which is so useful for speaking. Of course, there's a lot of speaking throughout the lesson plan.
Yeah, they are
I
mainly
noticed.
for speaking. Yes, because my students don't write anything, so it's everything is about speaking. No homework, and sometimes I don't use it all, but I try to produce a complete lesson plan for other teachers to use. So yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yes.
So maybe I
So
could show one more. This is, once again, as I said, I really enjoy your choice of topics. So this was a summer topic, out of office.
mhm. Yeah, the video is nice. So there I
Very, very
included a
important
text.
during the
Yes.
summer to be out of office and to enjoy
Right.
some vacation time.
So what I try to do is to vary the tasks, the activities, because I get bored if I write everything. I mean, I keep the structure, the before, while, after, watching, reading, but then I try to vary the tasks. And what I've been doing recently is to, if the video is too long or too challenging, divide it in chunks. I mean, I provide one activity for watch the first seconds and do this, then watch the other seconds. So I try to chunk the video and provide variety in the activities, because if you watch it the full video at once, perhaps it's too a lot of information for students to retain or to work on.
Do you always include a video in your lesson plans?
No, it's also text, either the original article, for example for business especially, or I adapt it, or I take some excerpts from an article from Forbes, Harvard Business Review. Harvard Business Review has a lot of interesting articles to use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then I take lexis from there, or I try to focus on some connected speech. If it's a video, I'm really interested into decoding now. So I bought some books on how to help students learn to decode, to understand when people speak, because sometimes we want to test true or false, listen and answer, but how do they get there if they don't understand what they are listening to? So my idea is that to use some strategies to help students understand and decode word and sound, you know.
Wow.
So well, I'm learning. But
I
that
I
is,
used yeah, I used to create lesson plans like this. I have never created this many, but I think many of us do at some
of
point in our
course,
career. And
all the time.
now I use more of language coaching because I work more with individual clients. But for groups, these are so cool. Like take a video from their favorite series and create all of this around it, yeah, and you can easily get lost for one full day or more. How long does
Yeah.
it take you? How long does it take you to create a lesson plan?
To create this, well, it depends, but 3 or 4 hours, perhaps, if I write the notes. It depends. Sometimes they flow easily, and sometimes I have the topic in mind, but I don't have any idea about the content. But then when I start writing, I mean, it flows. Some of them are better than others, of course. Some of them you say, oh, these are wonderful, and then when you use them, the student, okay, I mean, anything can happen, you know. But I think the thing is to contextualize, to make it meaningful to your
Yes,
students. And some of the topics might not be appealing to many people, but my students really like or are into this fields, these topics. So that's why I share what I do for my students,
that's
that's the
the
thing.
best. That is the best. Let's share what we do with our clients or with colleagues, and maybe other people on the other side of the world will see it and get inspired and can use it.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
or perhaps the task type, or this can work with this text that I need to use for my class. So perhaps you don't use my lesson plan, but you get some ideas for your own classes.
Yes,
So that's the
exactly.
thing. And I always see or have a look at other teachers' materials, because that is part of my inspiration as well. Most of the things have been created, have already been invented. So we are picking ideas from here, from there, and trying to adapt them to our context, to change them. That is what we do with course books. If you use a course book,
Yeah.
not your case that you don't use course books, but for those
No.
teachers who have to, because sometimes you
Yeah.
have to use them because of parents, because of the institution you work for. So perhaps taking some ideas from the course book and then make it your own way. You are using the course book, but you are changing, adapting, transforming, I mean, destroying, creating. But the course book is a starting point.
Yes.
So perhaps that is
Yes.
a great text or audio, but the activities it proposes are not that good for
Yeah.
your target group. So you can take advantage of those texts and then make it your own way. So all of us are material writers. I think that,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. So
mhm.
how do you find your topics? Do they come to you? How
It
does the
depends.
creative process start?
It depends. Sometimes when I'm on LinkedIn, for example, I come across one of these Harvard Business Review topics, which are timely
Mhm.
and really engaging. And I take ideas from that, or I Google one of these business magazines, and I take ideas from there, or my own students bring the ideas. So it all depends. Or if they need to work on budget, if they are talking about budget, then I look for something about budget. One student told me,
Mhm.
I'm preparing the budget for this year. So I said, okay, let's find a way to use that topic for real communication, because even though
Yeah.
he's not using English at this moment, in the future perhaps he can promote, and
Yeah.
he needs the language.
Yes.
So yeah, students bring everything to class. Yeah,
That's the
that's the
best.
thing.
Follow the students' needs and just be
Yeah,
there to facilitate, to hold their hand, to
right.
coach them, right?
Exactly.
So,
That's
what, in your opinion, should not be missing in a perfect lesson plan?
well, one of the key things that I will be presenting at in an event in Barcelona in October the 1st with my colleague Jake Young, who is the founder of Fluentize, which is another great platform. He sells materials and he has a lot of free lesson plans as well. And he's based in Czech Republic. He's based in
Yes, in
Prague.
Prague, and we
Yes.
connected on LinkedIn. He
Oh,
sent me a
that's
friend
awesome.
request after
That's
I
awesome.
posted about this interview. He sent me a
That's
friend
great.
request. So, yeah.
So we are presenting about flow and sequence. So that the topic came to us because sometimes when we see materials, we don't see any connection between the items within a lesson plan. I mean, number one, discuss these questions. Number two, fill in the gaps with these words. And then students, okay, what's going on here? We were discussing, we were uh, doing something more communicative, and suddenly you switched to a gap filling. You are not telling me where those words come from. Are they coming from the audio we will listen later? Are they coming from a text? I mean, the connection within the parts of a lesson plan sometimes are missing. So that is a key ingredient in the
Yes.
lesson plan recipe.
The
Linking the
segues.
connections, yeah, to have a thread, not only the topic, but also the purpose. If you want your students to speak at the end in your follow-up task, if you want them to role play, okay, you should scaffold all the stages of the lesson plan to help them get to that part prepared, not out of the blue. Okay, now you speak, come on, you have to role play this situation.
Yeah.
No, it has to run smoothly. It has to lead. Each stage has to pave the way for the next one.
Hmm.
So, and students need to see that, need to feel that. So we are the ones who need to give them that by making a well sequenced lesson plan. So that is basically for me the most important thing. And consistency, like writing clear instructions, not using higher level language when you explain things. Um, those are basics, but really important when you are making even a worksheet of 3 items, anything, using the same font, the same numbering,
That
in
also
terms
is
of layout.
important.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Because
The
it gives more,
layout, the
yeah,
layout.
the
We talked about
layout.
that.
Yes, it has to be easy to navigate,
Yeah.
has to have wide space, has to be visually appealing, but at the same time not cluttered with stuff. And then another thing, well, if you want, I can get started and you don't stop. Sometimes we want to exploit texts or videos and we want to squeeze them and we want to teach every single lexical item we find. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, they can. So we cannot do that in one class. If you decide
Yeah.
to plan a lesson or to create a material, focus on 1 or 2 items, because then cognitive overload will come up in your class and students will be lost. Okay, what am I learning? Am I learning grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary, everything together, a lot of things? So you have to be clear about your objectives, or at least if you want to squeeze a resource, make it in different classes, because we don't learn everything. Exposure is good, but we need to take time to process information and
Yes.
to recycle.
Yeah, bite-sized,
Right.
especially these days with short
Yes.
attention span. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a key point. Short attention span. That's why the idea of chunking videos and texts is good, because we can focus on one thing at a time instead of everything together. You know. So
What would you say are your students' favorite activities in these lesson plans? Is there something that stands out?
basically, perhaps the leading questions, and then the video and how it is exploited, well, or the
Hmm.
text, how it is exploited, the vocabulary we get from the video, and the use we give to the vocabulary or to the
Yes.
lexical items, and then connecting those items to their context I mean, using the language you take from the text and apply it and personalize it. So
Mhm.
if you're talking about business meetings, okay, relate everything that you saw in the video to students to their own context.
Yes.
Is it realistic? Can it happen in your workplace? How do you feel about it? Trying to make connections, because the more personalized, the more meaningful, the better to understand and to learn.
And to remember,
Yeah.
because our brains are getting older as we get older, and we need to
Yes.
remember through. That's why I love learning through, by doing, and through social interaction and all these experiential activities, because I believe that it sticks to us because we
Hmm.
associate it with the activity or with the conversation. Oh, and John was there and he was saying this. What was the phrase that he used? um, how do you work with review of the vocab of the
Recycling.
lectures? Yeah,
Recycling. Hmm. Right. Yes,
that's
yes.
very important, and we forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not only us, but also course books. Course books, you finish one unit, and then second one, the family, second, travel, third, food. And where is the recycling? Because you finish the unit, so the topic is over. So the teacher has to do that hard work and to recycle. Okay, remember in unit one when we talked about the family. Okay, so linking things, and
Hmm.
making them memorable. So
Hmm.
that's the point when we make our own materials, making them memorable.
Are there any topics or activities that are taboo for you that you wouldn't want to teach or make lesson plans on?
Well, with my students that I'm really close to, I don't have any issue with that. But perhaps when making material for my website, I wouldn't like to deal with controversial issues. So I prefer to be politically correct, let's say. But sometimes it's good to do something more challenging. That's
Because
also
I know the English teaching course books, they follow these guidelines that there should be no politics, no sex.
parsnips. Yes, parsnips.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yes, yes.
So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, well, I haven't done anything really challenging or controversial on my website. Perhaps some things with fluent eyes. Some topics are more
Mhm.
controversial that we touch there. But
Okay.
yes, for the time being, I'm quiet with that
Mhm. Mhm.
publicly. Then behind
Publicly.
classes, yes, anything can happen. But yes.
Behind closed doors, absolutely. Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. Another thing I wanted to ask is, you not being a native speaker, we had a conversation about it as well in our pre-interview chat. You are Argentinian living in Spain. You mostly teach Spanish people, right?
Yes.
Or some internationals as well?
No, mainly Spanish speakers, because I teach some
Yeah.
Argentinians
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, okay. And up until recently, it was so common in countries like Spain to employ only native speakers, and there was this discrimination, and now that's over. It's illegal, right? How do you deal with that topic when it comes to creating these lesson plans? You're not a native speaker. Have you ever had to deal with some negative criticism?
No, not really. And
Okay.
actually, if someone come across a mistake or a typo, because I make a lot in my lesson plans, of course, they send me private messages to correct something, or they tell me this instruction is not clear, is not the words you use are not appropriate or that clear. So I accept constructive feedback is always welcome from both, from native, non-native, from any user. So that's great for me if I can learn. Those are learning experiences. So from that point of view, that is great. And then, no, I haven't had any issue with native speakers. Actually, I made a lot of collaborations with many English teachers, and I put them on my website too. The one
Mm-hmm.
that you showed about turning points, it was changing careers. I did that. That was the last one with Jane. She's an English teacher who is based in Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
um, And that was great because she could correct some of the things that I wrote, and then she was also learning from the way I write material. So we were learning from each other. So that is what we should do, because we all
Yeah,
have something to teach
yeah.
beyond our nationality.
We each
Oh,
have different ingredients. We can spice it up, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Do
So that
you
goes
ever,
beyond
sorry,
passports. No, it's okay.
sorry, what
Sorry.
did you say?
That goes beyond passports. I mean, we are all lifelong learners, and even in our own languages, because when I taught Spanish I had to study a lot. So languages are endless to study.
Do you ever use translation when you follow these lesson plans or when you teach in general? How do you use
I
translation?
try not to use language one, but sometimes it saves time, because sometimes
Mhm.
you have to give a whole explanation about a term, and with your native language you can say it in one word, and it's time saving. So for that purpose, I do. And apart from that, speaking the same language gives us the opportunity to spot mistakes easily,
Yeah,
because students, we as a student, me too, we tend to translate from our language to English or language two, so we can spot mistakes easily from translation. And that is an advantage we have. Yeah.
awesome. I
Right.
love that answer. Let's move to the sharing part of your lesson plans and your work, because that's a big part of my interview with you. I think it's a very interesting topic, and in your case, you've been very successful. Can you tell us more about you? You mentioned LinkedIn. Yeah, we mentioned it before. You mentioned why you use LinkedIn only and not the other platforms, not to get distracted, and you find it the best platform for you. Um, can you tell us more about how
Well,
you built it up, how you
I
built
think
up
that
your
the
community? Because when I posted about this interview, we had over 100 likes and so many comments. People were so interested in me interviewing you and speaking about the creative process. So, how did that all happen, and how is that experience on LinkedIn? Tell us a bit more about it,
Well,
please.
it started during the pandemic. I started to post just some infographics that I made on how to promote, I don't know, fluency, something very simple. And then I went into material writing into the course. And then I started sharing my lesson plans like on a weekly basis and building my network, building my community, because I started to connect with everyone within our community. So the most important thing here is to connect with people from ELT, because
Yeah.
that was my aim. Even the authors, the writers, the teachers, anyone within ELT. So those contacts lead you to other connections that
Exactly. You
request.
start following one person, and there is a whole group of a new group of people because they
Right.
like, they comment, and you just pick what you like, and it's so much
Sure.
more organic than the other social platforms. So I
Right.
really recently I really enjoy my time there more than the other
Yes, yes,
ones.
and you apart from meeting people and talking to people privately, because then you send messages and you build a nice connection. For example, many people I will meet in person in Barcelona for this convention. I will meet many people from LinkedIn that I've been talking to for a while now. So now it's gonna be like face to face. That's gonna be great. So I hope it
You
happens
will
with.
feel like old friends, I'm
Yeah, kind
sure.
of. I know they've known each other for longer, because I'm kind of new to all this. But I think that this posting frequently, posting things that raise nice debates, giving your ideas, your tips, because not only do I share my lesson plans, I also share, I don't know, webinars that I attended. The last post that I made last week was, these are the 3 webinars that I attended. So these people
I
also,
saw
when you
that.
tag them, they also bring their own connections to the post, and and we spread other people's materials as well. Or
Yeah.
sometimes I recommend other lesson plans that I use made by other teachers. So I think this is good. I mean, to receive, but also to give, because
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of nice comments, nice feedback, but I also want to spread other people's work, because that's part
I
of
know you're quite
the
meticulous
sense
with
of,
that. I know we talked about this a little bit. Like, you know that like now is the time to like share the love and share someone's stuff.
yeah,
And
mhm,
today I can post my stuff, and another time I can recommend
right.
my CPD journey. And when it's like this, it's quite juicy, and people you build a following, you build a community, and you get to do things like this. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can connect
sure.
between the
And my
countries.
collaborations came from LinkedIn, because with
Yeah,
Jake and with Nick, we got in touch through LinkedIn. So many of the things that I'm doing now come from LinkedIn and from this constant posting. I mean, it was not my intention to be everywhere, because last year I was like in many places at the same time, like giving this interview. That was not my intention. I like to connect with people, but these opportunities are really good also for me, so I appreciate them. And it's gratitude. We should be grateful. We should always be grateful. That's why, yes, giving
thank you
and
so much.
receiving, yes, that's really nice.
Beautiful. Yeah. Um, you mentioned Nick again, and sharing and working on your lesson plans on Fluentize. Let's talk about getting paid for these lesson plans. Can you
Right.
tell
Well,
us more?
on my website, everything is free. I added the donate section,
Okay.
some time ago, for people who regularly use my lesson.
Everyone, please donate to Silvina. She spends so much time and her energy, and she has this gift of creativity. Everybody, donate for Silvina's amazing work. Okay,
Thank you.
continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Nina. And then, well, I'm working with Nick as a guest writer, because
Hmm.
he has a platform.
Yeah.
You can become a member. So it's free for members, but you have to pay for the lesson plans if you're not part of the platform. So that is the
Should I
idea.
pull it up? It's Peachy Publications. Am I right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. PT
Yes.
publications. And
Yeah.
then
I
with,
think I noticed you because you somehow had similar graphic design to his, and I was like, this looks familiar. I think that's how,
yeah,
you
it's kind of teamwork, because I make the lesson plan, and Nick works on the layout, because he follows kind of
but
a
not just those,
mine,
but
you mean.
now it's gone. The publications. Yes, I want to promote Nick's work as well. I read his newsletters
And he gives some
um,
freebies too from time to time. On Fridays, he also gives away some of his lesson plans. So if you subscribe to
as
his
well.
newsletter, you can get free lesson plans, and you can get discount when our lesson plans are released. You can get them for half price. That is $1.50 on the first week of
It's
release.
really so cheap. It's so affordable.
Well, it's
So
affordable for, yes, for our countries. That's
yeah,
why I have this part of free stuff for my people in Argentina, for colleagues in Latin America and other countries, in which it's more difficult to pay for this stuff in dollars or euros.
yeah, that's
So
why I appreciate your work so much, because so many teachers who wouldn't be able, as you say,
yeah.
pay even for this, they can use your lessons, and
Yeah, well,
it's
Nick also
still
gives away, so it's good to be there to subscribe to the newsletter, because you can also get free stuff.
exactly,
hmm So it's good.
exactly,
It's very
exactly.
generous of them.
So once again, you can see it's a very simple design, so easy to navigate. Love his website, love his work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's great. He's great, and everything is so well prepared for online classes,
yeah,
because he could make this switch easily. He is really into technology. That's something that I that I'm not.
Mhm.
And then with Fluent Ties, I collaborate with Jake, and we are a team of 3 people. Cecilia Nobre, who is she's Brazilian, and she's been in ELT for more than 20 years. She's a teacher trainer, a material writer. Now she's starting her PhD in the UK. So a lot of knowledge there. So we brainstorm ideas together, we collaborate, and then Jake actually writes the lesson plans. But we are like the brains trying to brainstorm some of the lesson plans together. So yes,
Mhm.
that's another collaboration as part of my freelancing jobs
Mhm.
that I have
And
right
are
now.
you planning any other platforms, or these two are
Well,
plenty
I'm
for you?
working with a language school, with a business English school
Mhm.
from Paris, but that is for their personal use. It's not widely spread. So I'm doing these materials for them, for their own students there. And then, well, I'm teaching because that is where my inspiration comes from, and that is my first and most important profession. This part of professional material writing came later, and that is kind of a compliment, and it's something that I really like. But now I'm also teaching, so uh, I couldn't do more than what I'm doing right now.
So
You know,
who usually takes lessons with you? Who are your typical clients?
well, I have both general English and business English
Mhm.
professionals, and I have a senior student, the one about the jazz. So he's retired and he's taking lessons. Um, so we talk about many things with him. But then, yes, business people from
Mhm.
different areas, from different fields. And then I have this Pilates instructor. That's why I wrote the lesson plan about the
Mhm.
history of Pilates, something
Mhm.
random for her. So, yes, different backgrounds. And that's great for us. I mean, it's more work because you can recycle some of the materials, but you have to produce new ones. But at the same time, it's good for me and for my this variety that I'm always looking for.
Mhm.
So that's good.
How long do you usually work with a student, with a client?
The class, you mean?
Yes.
It's
How long
it's
does it
one
take?
one and a half
Mm-hmm.
once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
And
yes.
for how long? A year?
Sorry, you mean in the yes,
Mm-hmm.
in the year, or it's non-stop? Because some of the students didn't take vacations, and I didn't either. So as it was something like once a week, and I don't have a lot of students, I mean, I could handle. So it's like a non-stop. With the other school that I'm working for right now, they have the academic year. Yes. So from September to June, more or less. But the rest
Mm-hmm.
of my students is at their own pace or whenever they are available. So yes.
So how do you find space for new students if you keep teaching your favorite ones all the time? Yeah, like because we can sometimes it's so hard for us to say no when we want to accept a new student, but where to find space for? How do you deal with that?
Well, I don't work full time, so
Yeah.
I have certain slots, and I have to yes, to respect that, because then Tom is here and I cannot do anything else. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm trying to, for example, to devote Tuesdays and Thursdays to these new classes for this company and some of my private students. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the mornings when he goes to school, I can add some other classes, a few, plus these material writing collaborations. So, and then if I have some free time, I can work on some planning for my website, something that I want to do for my website. And that's it, because the week.
How do you recharge? You seem to be so active, and plus an active mom. How do you
Yeah.
recharge? How do you go for walks or do
Yes,
you
I live by the
travel?
beach, so I take advantage of that, and I go for a walk, or I meet. I don't have a car, so I have to walk everywhere I go. So that's more energizing but tiring at the same time. So that is the way that I find. I would like to do some sport because of my posture and everything. So that is one of
That
my
is hard
goals.
for us online teachers. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
How was
I would
it for
like
you
to.
during the pandemic? I gained some weight and my back started hurting. So now
Yes, the
I am
back.
really paying. How
Mm.
was it for you teaching during the pandemic?
Yes, perhaps the back was the problem. You
Yeah.
know, the position, the neck, all this stuff, but not about weight because I'm too thin. But about the position of the body, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the
Mhm.
things that I need to work on. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. So, one of the final questions, do you feel that the pandemic has improved your teaching in some way or freelancing? If you can, take some lesson from it, how did you develop?
Yes.
Because for all of
Absolutely.
us, it was a big change, I think, wasn't it?
Mhm. Yes, it was. So as I told you before, I started teaching again during the pandemic. So that was kind of an opportunity for me. But at the same time, as I didn't have any social life, as most of us, I started to create. So my creativity started to flourish somehow.
Mhm.
And that's why I took the course at Nile and then the Oxford, the course at Oxford. So that was my way of dealing with the pandemic, you
Coping,
know?
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
moving
in that
forward,
sense,
focusing on the good things, and we can survive anything. We are strong. Yes?
yes, yes, absolutely. We are. Hmm.
So, last question. What is this new school year like for you? Are you happy how well, this is what we talk about in the club these days because today is the 15th of September. So we're talking about scheduling new clients and filling up group courses, and some are a little more stressful, some activities
Yes.
more than others. How is
Hmm.
it going for you so far this year? What are your plans? Are
I
you
mean,
happy with how you planned it all organized it?
yeah, I'm still working on that because I'm starting some of these courses. Today I started two new classes, but I think it's gonna be good because I'm trying to divide different days, as I told you. So this is my availability for this school these days. So I'm trying to do that, to separate the days and to devote to material writing and to classes. So far so good, but let's see how it goes. Yes.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Because we want more from you. And please make sure that you go to the beach a lot so you can
Oh,
recharge.
yes.
Yes,
Yes,
and
of
balance it
course.
out with some
Mhm.
fun activities, although this is fun for you as well. I'd
Yes,
like
but
to I'd like to dare everyone who is listening to this webinar to try and create at least one lesson. If you haven't done it for a long time, or if you've never done it, or if you do it regularly, create something new, something that will be different than the stuff
yes,
before or the stuff that you taught from. I hope that this interview inspired you and gave you some ideas.
yes.
Um, is there something? Yes, Sylvia, sorry.
I'm gonna add something. Yes, create and share. Create and share and ask for feedback, because that is what keeps us improving and learning, and pilot it with your students. Let other teachers pilot it, and share ideas and how you can improve it, and collaborate with other teachers, because some of the works that I did on the website are collaborations with people from different backgrounds, and that is so enriching. So if you are a
It is.
community and you teach in different backgrounds to different students, or mixed ability classes, or different countries, because the community is also uh, fr- people from other countries are also part of the community. So try to mix, to enrich your cultural backgrounds as well. That
Yeah.
the results are amazing because you get wonderful ideas from others, and then ask your students how they felt, what they enjoyed the most or the least, or what they would like to talk about next class, whatever. So they can provide you with a lot of useful information. I'm sure that most of the teachers do that already, but this collaboration is really enriching, really. Mhm.
Absolutely. I've done it in my offline group courses. I've done it in my online courses. Always headhunting uh,
Yes.
in my community, like, hey, do you want to join this? And do you want to come and cook with us, my friend from India? Like, please teach us something new. Or, hey, let's connect, yeah, to the other side of the world. I have a colleague in Chile who was working with me on a course, a Zoom course last year when we were all stuck at home, and we created some amazing stuff in Teams. I often ask the ladies from this club where we are streaming live and broadcasting, and I would love to invite everyone to get in touch with us.
Sure.
Those of you who are watching also outside of the club on LinkedIn, hopefully this interview, if you liked what you heard about our work, and of course mainly about Silvina's work, if you would like to know more about how we create our networks and how we build our communities, feel free to get in touch. And
Sure.
Silvina, I want to thank you and wish you all the best for this
Mm,
year. It
thank
sounds
you.
so far so good, I think. Yeah, as you
Yes,
said.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Indeed.
And we have one feedback here from one of the ladies. Hi, Yanni. No questions. I just want to say I really enjoyed this interview. Thank you so much, Silvina. Your work is amazing. Even though I don't really do lesson plans per se, I love creating lesson activities. Keep the
Good.
creativity
Yes,
flowing. Thank you,
good.
Yanni.
Thank you so much. Very nice of you. Yes, creativity can be anywhere, not only writing a lesson plan, can be in any idea, in anything that comes up in class, any tip, anything is creative. We are teachers, so we are creative.
For a
Yeah,
reason. We are in this for a
yeah.
reason. We
Mhm.
can play, we can have fun, enjoy it, and tell us
Yes,
later if you want. Share with us if we inspired you, if you got some new ideas, maybe more enthusiasm for teaching languages. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for taking the time listening to our chat here. Much love from Brno, Czech Republic to Alicante, Spain, and
yes,
all over the world. And let us know, please, how you enjoyed this, both the ladies in
it
the
was
club
great.
and your beautiful community, and mine on LinkedIn, because I'm
Yes.
going to post it there. I think we did. Okay. I
Thank
think
you
we
very
did.
much, Nina. It's been a pleasure. Really nice chat, and next time with some coffee or some drink, face
Yes,
to face
please.
with the
Yes,
community of teachers there. Yes.
yes, I run different events here in the Czech Republic. You're always welcome. It's always just a flight away. Right.
Yes, that's great. So we'll do that soon. No problem.
Thank you so much, Silvina. Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.